What's up, Husker Nation? We're live on a Friday. First time we've done that this season. It's October 24th. We're on a Friday afternoon. We're at the end of the workday, end of the week. We have sort of directionally recovered from Minnesota. Probably not. Still definitely hurts and stings, but we are one day away from Northwestern. And it's time to do some little bit of a recap on Minnesota, mostly focusing on how we can get this season back on track against Northwestern. Welcome to the HuskGuys podcast. For those who are following, we appreciate you guys. Make sure you follow us across Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Search HuskGuys. We are the number one most followed. Very proud of that. 150,000 plus Husker fans follow us across channels. Trying to keep the positive vibes going. So make sure you check us out and check out HuskGuysStore.com for cool run the ball gear. Lots of cool hats. Positive vibes hats. Lots of good stuff that we're trying to drum up. Andrew, my brother, is here. How are we feeling on a Friday afternoon?
Well, pretty good overall. I mean, like the only thing that can shake how I have felt all week, which is a sinking pit, a bottomless pit of just full of fear and queasiness from that Minnesota game is a win. And this is as good of an opportunity for a win as we are going to have the rest of the season. So starting to get the optimism back, starting to get a little bit of, I'm looking into Northwestern numbers. I'm feeling okay. I like to see when other teams kind of have a lot of chinks in the armor, and that's good. I also worked nights all week, and that was a very welcome distraction. so it just completely removed me from the world, and I worked, 6 12-hour shifts, and then you get back to this, and it's like, oh, okay, it's football time.
Now I remember we were not good. Yeah.
The extra distraction all week from us being bad.
The extra day doesn't help. I think the fact that there's a Friday game gave you that extra like Saturday and Sunday and extra time to like kind of dwell on it. But now it is interesting. So we typically record these on Mondays or Tuesdays, sometimes Sundays. But the Friday is interesting because I truly have like recovered in a lot of ways. Like I was in a dark place most of Saturday. We were together. We're down in Florida. Yeah, I was moping on the beach, which is not a great thing to be doing. But I think that like the losses that move us closer to like irrelevance and totally out of the playoff picture and total out of like meaningful games are the ones that hurt me the most. The first one, like Michigan, is like everybody predicted that was a loss. Got it. The Minnesota, and getting just absolutely mauled by a team like that. And then getting us to 2 losses really kind of like flips things.
Sure.
But I will say now that we're out at Friday, I've listened to all the press conferences, which we can break down here. It'll be interesting to see how the team rebounds.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's what good teams do. Like, I thought Rhule did have some interesting statements, not to like deflect things from himself, but he was like, well, Miami lost, and other top 10 teams. I mean, Arizona State just beat another
Texas Tech
top
lost
10 team. Yeah, I mean, like, so there are teams that just, this is what happens in college football. You cannot let a loss like this derail your season. The reason that I think fans feel derailed is just how it happened, but the fact is we are still 5-2. It is time. We are getting into like the part of the schedule, the back half of the schedule, where everyone kind of panicked before the season, but you've got a great opportunity right ahead of us to just like show everybody like, oh yeah, we're still a decent team.
Yeah. Let's jump in. So the way we kind of got this thing structured for today, we typically go drive by drive. We're not going to do that because that was the worst game. It was the worst. No. It was the worst game of all time.
Torture. And, why would you do that?
There's like barely anything to talk about. It's just like, hey, 3-and-out punt, 3-and-out.
We all know it.
3-and-out punt, 3-and-out punt. So we're just going to do 3 biggest areas of concern coming out of the game. Also, 3 biggest improvements needed to beat Northwestern, and then we'll do a full Northwestern breakdown. So on the biggest areas of concern, I actually am going to do these in reverse order. I think let's start with offensive inefficiency and like mental disappointment.
Sure.
So I think that one jumps out as we didn't score a touchdown, season low, 6 points. Didn't score a touchdown for the first time since Rhule took over as coach. Just could not do anything in the red zone, kicked 2 short field goals. Really difficult down at distance. We averaged 3rd and 12 on our 6 third down attempts. And then I think there's this overall, like the overall thing that I kind of want to start with, which ties into the press conferences and ties into Rhule, is like the lack of juice, the lack of energy. How there was Rhule said that when it was 7-6 at halftime, which if you remember, it was only 7-6, basically a tie game at halftime.
It was like we were fine despite
Rhule said that Rhule said there's heads hanging in the locker room, really bad vibes in the locker room at halftime.
Yeah.
So I think there was like, as I look at this and I've listened to a ton of the podcasts and listened to all the like the pressers and everything like that, and you listen to how Rhule responded, there's a weird element where like Nebraska, it's like the players don't quite know how to handle success. And it was almost like they were feeling themselves coming into this. That I mean, Lindenmeyer came out and said like, "Hey, we were planning to put on a show, and we know when they punched us in the face, we were totally like shocked." And this element that's like, "Hey, we beat Maryland and we beat Michigan State and we beat Cincinnati." I think there's like an element of confidence this team, which I think is good that they're confident, but I think it's almost like an irrational confident. Where like as you look back on it, you're like, we needed a miracle to beat Maryland. We needed a fourth quarter miracle to beat Michigan State. These are both not good teams. Cincinnati's a good team. That's a nice win. But I guess if I look at all of it, and Rhule even said this, he was like, I was begging the coaches to take these guys seriously. Nobody was taking Minnesota seriously. That to me was like probably the biggest concern of the whole thing of like, why did we not take this team seriously that beat us 6 straight times? And like what business? We're the 25th ranked team in the country that like they think we're 8th. Like we're not Ohio State. So that whole kind of mentality that led to the offensive efficiency, I think was very, very confusing.
Yeah, I mean it's a strange thing to go up on a Friday night in front of, like, to me, for an outsider, for a typical fan, we're going into this game and in pregame it's like, okay, yeah, a lot of people actually did predict that Nebraska would lose this game before the season, but then you watched how,
right? Didn't you?
I was very torn, and ultimately I flipped last seconds to us winning.
Yeah, because I was at outer space. I said 10-2, and so I'm already just falling apart.
I think I did have us losing. But then before the game, I was like, God, Minnesota just kind of stunk in the weeks leading up to it. They had 0 sacks in the 2 weeks before, and then they had 9 against us. They couldn't run the ball in the 2 weeks before, and then they just looked like they had Walter Payton in their backfield. And this is like, that's, I think the concern is like, why would our team go up to Minnesota in front of a raucous environment, in front of just like, all the crazy student section and everything? You still have 10,000 Nebraska fans there. And like, how do you not really get that edge? How do you not get amped up to play a Friday night nationally televised game? Like, why are you not bringing the juice there? There was like Avery Howard with like Hail Varsity, I think, was
heard that. Yeah, I saw that.
She was like, I don't know. There was a different energy, a different feel on the sideline than Minnesota or than the Maryland game, and why?
Yeah, it's weird, and I think it's just some of the stuff like that. The concerning things that Rhule is like, he is who he is. He's very authentic. He's very honest. He's very transparent, which is most of the time great. I think that works in recruiting. And I think sometimes he says stuff that you're like, I wish you had said that. And I think the one he's getting crushed for this week was, I was trying to tell our offense, the coordinators, I was trying to tell our coaches to like ramp up. I think, I don't even know his exact words, but I was trying to tell them to take these guys seriously. And they were asking me why I'm crowning Minnesota. And like, it seemed like the players weren't listening and the coaches weren't listening to him. And you're kind of like, like, you got control? Like, yeah. You got control of the boys there, Rhule? Like, what's going on? Yeah. So that's kind of the like, I don't know.
So that's concern number one. I would agree.
Yeah. But I think what we will find out tomorrow.
Yes.
We'll find out
bring
tomorrow.
Their own juice.
Yeah. Well, but it's 11 a.m. kickoff. It's gonna be quiet.
11 a.m.
Memorial Stadium. 11 a.m. kickoff. We've fallen into the irrelevant slot. Like, congratulations. 11 a.m. kickoff. We got USC in 2 weeks. Don't look ahead to that one. You got to focus on Northwestern. But we'll see how they play. Like, I think everybody's concerned what happens in losses. Like, it's the Rhule of the Penn State thing makes me laugh. From 8 days ago, everybody was like calling Troy Dan into the office and saying like, you need to make Matt Rhule the highest paid coach in the history of college football. And then literally 48 hours later, people are like, nah, you can have him. You can take him.
Yeah.
Like
And then
you're
Penn
good.
State is just we're good.
You can have him. You can have him. You can have him.
Penn State is just, Penn State's like, you can keep him, and Nebraska fans are like, you guys sure? I feel like he would be a good coach at Penn State.
Yeah,
he should just really
just pay his
go home.
Well, but I think that there's overreactions, but I think what Nebraska fans see, because Nebraska fans are very, very astute and very good at watching games, is the concern that like what we saw against Minnesota was exactly what we saw in the second and third quarters versus Maryland, and the second and third quarters versus Michigan State, and a lot of the game in Cincinnati. So when that stuff, like when you don't have the fourth quarter comeback like we did against Maryland and Michigan State and Cincinnati, or the strong fourth quarters, then you're like, oh, wait, what? Whoa. And I think even jumping into concern number 2, which is just absolutely catastrophic. Catastrophic is not even a strong enough word for the offensive line. I mean, it's like
that was the single most frustrating thing you could possibly put a Nebraska fan through, is watching Raiola drop back and just stand there helplessly. I mean, here's a hot take. Is Raiola part of the illegal gambling scheme going on?
Is he fixing games
right now? Like, is he gonna show up? He's gonna do the tunnel walk and then get let out in cuffs.
Is he one of the but what's
Minnesota has not sacked anybody in 2 weeks. There is no way.
Yeah, but like
9 times. You're rigging games. We know it.
That wouldn't work because like the prop bet for Minnesota, the prop bet would have been over under 2 sacks.
Yeah,
because their average of sacks on the season was 1, maybe 2. They hadn't had a sack in 9 quarters, I think they said before that game. Like, they don't rush the quarterback. They barely even get back there. So like at 3, you could have been like, hey, Dylan, the Mafia got their money. You're good. You don't need to get sacked 6 more times.
And
shut it down.
Michael, Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups are in a cell together.
It's Dylan Raiola. Oh God. The weird thing about
crazy. It was like he just, his brain misfired. He couldn't seem to compute what Minnesota was doing.
Which was,
this
to be clear,
the same problem that we seem to have had. Like I love the Dana Holgorsen hire. I think it is the single greatest offensive coordinator hire we have made in years. However, we need to get away from this stubbornness on just insisting on passing. They know we're running on first down. They know we're going to probably not run the ball very far. They know that we are then going to be passing on second down. When we are passing, there's a very simple scheme to stop Dylan Raiola. As of right now, you can make adjustments though. You can design shorter routes that don't take 4 or 5 seconds to get into. And these are the things that are frustrating. Is worse. Like the second the ball is snapped, we're just like throw it.
It's brutal. He just doesn't see the field. He doesn't see anything. And
do it.
So the
concern that you and I had throughout the game is like, there's the most likely scenario, which is Dylan is a good quarterback that is not as good as he could be yet, and he is not being protected in any way, shape, or form. There is a smaller chance that is, if you were to look at like the all 11 or the all 22 views and watch some of these plays, would an elite quarterback be having 9 sacks in a game or taking 9 sacks, or would he have picked apart Minnesota's defense?
Yeah.
I don't like to believe that, but I think the reality is we know that he's absolutely getting scared feet. He's absolutely just like panicking at times. He's trying to make Mahomes throws when he just does not have to. And it's very concerning to watch this unfold in real time.
It's funny to laugh at, but not that funny. Our friends at Solid Verbal, he came out and said it looks like Dylan Raiola is trying to get drafted by Dude Perfect with the way that he plays football. Which I thought that was kind of a funny line. Seems like he doesn't play quarterback. exclusively like underhand, left-handed, sidearm. Like he never just sits in the pocket and throws.
It's like
What?
just play quarterback. I
Well,
mean,
I think
one,
that's what
two,
like
throw the freaking ball.
I think
So
that's
that
what
is,
as we watch the rest of the games, and
yeah,
we watched a bunch of the games together where you watch Ty Simpson in Alabama. I mean, he is bam, he catches that snap 1-2 out.
yeah,
And you watch Gunnar Stockton at Georgia, it's 1-2 out. That is like,
yeah.
I mean, they don't even take a drop. They catch the ball, they plant that back foot, and they are firing that thing 1-2 out, 1-2 out, and they're throwing lasers. But also, like, they're set up for success where it's like quick throws, quick throws, quick throws, quick throws, quick throws, quick throws, quick throws.
A quick stat on you about Alabama. Nebraska currently has the 104th ranked rushing offense in the country. Alabama is 103rd.
Nice. So that's something. That's
Ty
good.
Simpson is lighting them up, and they are number 4 in the country. We are certainly not.
Yeah, no, that's not good.
I'm just saying, like, Alabama's not working with a terrific rushing offense too. Like we can't commit to the run, and it's true, you absolutely need to and have to in this league. But
our rushing offense too. So Sean Callahan
be a passing team, I guess. But
Sean Callahan had this. Sean Callahan's stat was 13 of the 16 tailback runs were on first down. So, and I think Emmett Johnson only had 14 rushes the entire game. So basically, like, it reminded me of the, I don't know if those listening or go all the way back to the Creighton Prep football offenses of the Tom Jaworski eras of the 90s and 2000s. Guaranteed run on first down, guaranteed run, usually on second down. And if you ever got to like a third and long, it was a guaranteed bootleg. Like that's your play, like every single time. And that's the way I like, as I rewatched the game, I was like, that's what this offense is. It's like first down. If he gets 1 yard or two, you're going, he just like, forget it. Forget it. We're not running. We're not running ever again. And it just goes pass, which it's insane to think about. And like after the 7th sack, you're like, oh, you're still passing. I wish it's 9 sacks, but it's also 11 hurries. What was it? 11 hurries. Like, I mean, he could have been sacked 14 times. He was hurried 14 times. One time he threw left-handed. One time he threw it underneath, like, he threw that Mahomes throw. So like 14 times he was almost sacked in 25 dropbacks or something, or 28 dropbacks. It's like just an astounding level of hits. Yeah. With Emmett Johnson now Emmett Johnson is leading the Big Ten in rushing.
And he looked good against Minnesota. He had some fantastic jump cuts that he was making guys miss. Like Minnesota ended up with more missed tackles than Nebraska, which I thought was impossible watching us play defense. But most of it was because of Emmett. Yeah, he was slipping around, and so like we got to commit to him. And tomorrow we need to do the same. But I think that the positives that you take from this game is like you can flip your offensive identity just a little bit. Like we are who we are to an extent. Dana is who he is to an extent. But I think he knows that like we've got something in Emmett Johnson. And like, okay, 14 carries. I can't remember how many yards he went for, but like he was over 4 per carry. You'll take that for sure. Why don't we do that 20, 25 times? And the problem is we don't have a second running back there, but that was concern number 2.
Number 3 is going to be, it's just physicality. I mean, the concern being this complete regression in physicality and tackling, where anybody who watched could see that we're thoroughly outplayed, outmuscled, kind of have this very soft team. The defense allowed Darius Taylor, Minnesota's running back, ran for 148. He entered the game with only 3.8 yards per carry. And the last 2 games, he only had 44 total yards rushing in the last 2 games combined. He had 148 against us. So, that 71 yard, it's crazy. And I think,
it's just comedy.
Buford and Singleton struggling, tackling him really all season. But I think I would say that's probably like the number one, there's the mentality question. There's the offensive struggles, which I think we can get the offense back on track. The physicality to me is probably the biggest concern from that standpoint of, I thought we got mauled by Maryland. I thought we got mauled by Michigan State. I thought we got mauled by Cincinnati's D tackle. I think like, as you look back on those games, every single game, I came away with, I probably said I think I added up like 7 or 8 different quarters. I've said that was like the worst quarter Nebraska's played in 10 years. And it truly is this weird, like when they start mauling us physically up front, it is like painful to watch. Where it's not just like broken plays, it's like, oh, they're just gonna run it down our throats. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Regarding physicality, that comes down to like missed tackles and then how are we doing in the trenches. Like that's kind of where I look at things, and then just your commitment to bullying other teams, which like Minnesota just does that. They put the ball on the ground and they just knock you over. Nebraska's actually, we're in the 30s, right? We're 38th in the country in tackles for loss. Like that's one positive.
Something.
We only had 3 against Minnesota, which was our least since the Cincinnati game. And those are things where it's like, if we're going to rely on these splash plays and stuff, we're certainly not doing well against the run. We have one of the worst ranked run defenses in the country. Okay, so we're getting beat on that side of the ball in the trenches. Then we need to have tackles for loss if we're going to not have that. Like if you're going to be one of those teams where it's like, okay, we give up 6 yards per rush, there's got to be some drives where you get these tackles for loss that are like big plays that completely disrupt drives. Otherwise, you are just a porous defense that bends and breaks instead of bends but not breaks, and you're like hold strong and then get this random tackle for loss. We're also not getting pressure on the quarterback, and that comes down to like physicality as well. We had 12 tackles for loss against Michigan State, but we have not had we haven't had, I'm looking at our sacks. We had 1 sack against Minnesota. We had 1 sack against Maryland. We had 4 against Michigan State, but we
haven't had a turnover in 3 weeks.
1 sack against Michigan. So in 4 of our games this year, we have had 1 or less sacks. And so again, physicality, aggression, getting after the quarterback, like that's a thing that needs to turn around here too.
I also think there's
the turnover margin, like that comes down to your, not just your physicality, but your aggression on defense as well. And I think Butler and I think everybody kind of learned from this last week, but here's the crazy thing on turnover margin. We were +6 after the Michigan State game. We are now down to 3 overall. Minnesota, we had a margin of 0, but we had 0 turnovers forced. We were -3 against Maryland. We were +2 against Michigan State. We were net even against Michigan. We had +2 against Houston Christian, 0 against Akron, and then +2 against Cincinnati. So in that first month of the season, things were actually looking pretty good. Like we'd turned things around there and stuff. And now these last 2 games, you're a net of -3 in the turnover margin.
Ooh. Yeah, and I think there's add this to the concern across all these. So we're talking about physicality, we're talking about the poor offensive line and the overall like mental toughness. But I would say the biggest thing I've got, especially as you look over the last few seasons, is like the book's out on Nebraska. Yeah. And say what you want about PJ Fleck. I can't stand the guy. Like I want to beat him so bad, and we just can't beat him. He drew up a perfect game plan, while Rhule's podcasting, he's studying film, and he had that was a perfectly coached game. Like he knew it's like, I'm going to run it right at you. I'm going to run quick hits.
The concern there is how simple it is. It's like he drew up an 8th grade football game plan.
Yep. I'm just going to run it at you.
31 ISO.
Well, it's 31 ISO, but then it's like,
you guys ever run I formation before?
It's slow drag, like that tight end slow drag, 3rd and 3, tight end slow drag across.
Totally.
It's 3rd and 2.
We're just gonna run a quick out, and then they picked on Donovan Jones like crazy.
The 98-yard drive that they had, there wasn't a single play that entire drive that we had a chance of stopping. Not a single play. We didn't have a single negative yard stop on that play. They gained 3 to 4 yards every single time. They ran the clock all the way down to 0 every single snap. Like we only had 2 possessions each quarter, 8 total possessions, 2 each quarter, because their strategy was, we're going to run the ball. We're going to run the clock all the way down. We're going to get a quick 3rd and 2, throw the quick route, stop him, move forward. Like it's the perfect way to beat us. And it is exactly what Northwestern's going to do.
But we won't do that tomorrow, right?
It's Northwestern's going to do the exact same thing. So,
oh God.
1,000%. Let's move in. Okay, 3 biggest improvements needed to beat Northwestern, who is going to do the exact same thing. Number 1, commit to run the ball, baby. Run the ball. HuskGuysStore.com. Make sure you get your cool run the ball gear, which I'm a big fan of this new hat. Emmett Johnson is Big Ten's leading rusher. First in the Big Ten, 5th nationally in yards from scrimmage. Only FBS player who leads his team in carries, rushing yards, and receptions. He is the heartbeat of the team who we got to feed. Dana's got to put more emphasis on him. He only had 14 rushes against Minnesota. And, every single other game, all of our victories, as well as even the Michigan game, he had a lot more, up to 20-25. I think that predictable play calling, 13 of the 16 tailback runs on first down is, mix it up. What are we doing? Number 1, commit to the run game. What do you feel about that one?
Yeah, I mean, I love Dana, but I think Coach Rhule said it best. We need to stick to what is working. And one of the only things working, one of the only bright spots was watching Emmett make some people miss on Saturday. So I think that they probably will get back to some bread and butter this week, just to take a little bit of pressure off Raiola. But they're not going to go away from Raiola. So fans better get used to the Raiola coaster. The Raiola coaster is this just ups and downs and twists and turns and everything in between. And you might want to puke, or you might want to scream, and you might want to be happy. You might be terrified. You might be feeling like you're going into one of those tunnels or the upside down part of the coaster and you don't know what's coming next. So the Raiola coaster is something we have to embrace. We're not going away from it entirely. But I do think that, if these last 3 weeks, any smart offensive coordinator is going to say something ain't right here. Michigan State's stopping you. Maryland's stopping you. Minnesota's stopping you. We've got some explosive plays in the bag. We will hit some, but we got to get some bread and butter in there, and that's going to come down to our running game. And we got Spindler apparently is coming back. Pritchett will be back in the second half after that atrocity. We've got the personnel that we can run block. Okay, not terrifically, but we've got to at least just stick to it.
Perfect. Number 2, and this is I just started thinking about this. Number 2, we basically said we got to protect Raiola, simplify passing and get the ball out, which we just talked about. So Rocco's back, Elijah's back. Running what works and just getting the ball out, like we're saying, like this. I mean, the Alabama offense, the Georgia offense, the Ole Miss offense. It's 1-2 fire. What I was just looking up is, I think it's. I mean, obviously, it was a catastrophe on Friday, but Dane Key didn't have a catch, and so I don't know. If you can't see the all 22, it's hard to be like.
Yeah, using your weapons.
Was Dane Key, this future NFL player that we all think he's going to be, had 0 catches that game. He had 4 versus Maryland, including the game winner, which is awesome, but 4 for 43, 3 against Michigan, 4 against HCU. It's kind of this weird,
he's not open. There's no way.
He's only open 4 times a game against all of these teams. It's a bizarre, he had 800 yards receiving for Kentucky last year in the SEC. He got open in the SEC. He can't get open against Minnesota.
What's that? If you watch the best quarterbacks in the NFL, I'm about to drop a Joe Flacco on you because he's not the best, but but pretty serviceable. He's 38 and he's still throwing dimes. He targeted Jamar Chase 20 plus times in their game, and it works. And it's not like he's going to be open every single time, but you have to have a quarterback that can throw them open. And that is one thing that Raiola, I can absolutely unequivocally say, is that if you're open, he will get you the ball. But if there's that slim chance that someone's just close enough, he doesn't seem willing to throw into space to give his receivers a chance and throw them open. He wants there to be 5 yards of space between them and the D-backs. And it's that's just not going to happen. You need to be decisive and throw them open. And you think that Jamar Chase is wide open on 20 passes? No, absolutely not. But you got to get your playmakers the ball. And Dane Key needs to touch the ball at least 5 times a game. Hunter needs to touch the ball at least 5 times a game, and Emmett needs to touch the ball over 20 times a game. Like, but you got to get it to him.
Yeah, it's weird. Now I'm looking at it. I mean, so Hunter's got 27 catches on the year. Ja'Cory Barney's got 27 on the year and he hasn't seen the ball in weeks. Like Dane Key's got 20, Lyndon Meyer's got 23, Emmett Johnson's got 29. So
had 1 catch for 1 yard.
Yeah, so like it's almost it's weird though. We've almost gone at like I don't even know who he did throw to. Like who like Dane
Lyndon Meyer.
But Hunter had 4 catches. Or Hunter only had
catches.
Yeah, which I guess is part of it. Is like when he's got sacked 9 times, nobody's getting the ball, but like he got sacked 9 times because no one was open and he couldn't throw to anybody. But like you got all these guys, and it's like a lot of it's like play calling too. It's like, all right, I mean, the slip screen to Barney, the tunnel screen to Hunter. Did we try these plays that worked like beautifully before? Like it's very weird to watch when we scored 70 points against Akron. Like I know they're Akron, but you're also like, all right.
Yeah.
Are there any plays? Are there any plays in that playbook that we can watch? Like,
some of them worked.
I just think there's so much focus on the offensive line as there should be. It was a total disaster, but like if Dane Key can run a 4-yard out, like that to me, that's what kills me about Minnesota is like all they were doing is they were just running like tight end would just stand 4 yards away, boom. Yeah. He's just running a quick hook. It's a wide receiver 3-yard out.
Like their
slow drag across the across the middle, the shallow cross to Ja'Cory Barney. Like, it's like every single thing. And like that one play that we saw that when they're able to only rush 3 and they're just dropping 8 into coverage, they drop 8 into coverage. It looks messy. It looks ugly. I get it. But there's got to be some way that you can. I mean, if there's 8 back into coverage, throw to Emmett. If there's, it's just we don't stretch the field. We don't throw it deep. It's a very confusing offense.
I would also add like the horizontal stretching of the field. Like you said, like how many times did Ja'Cory, bust one last year on the little like pop pass?
Yeah.
Or like where
he's been close this year.
End around or just like jet motion. Like, can we stretch things horizontally in that way? Like we've gone away from that too. And that's it's like you can run the ball not with Emmett, you can run the ball in different ways and get your receivers involved. And so I'd like to see us just utilize our speed. Like you can't tell me that Northwestern can keep up with Ja'Cory Barney for an entire game.
Yeah, I hope we see something different. I have fears that we won't because of Northwestern being a very strong defense. They're one of the best defenses, top 15 defense in the country, one of the best defenses in the Big Ten. So yeah, I would say we got to obviously commit to the run. We got to protect Rhule, simplify the passing game. And then I think the final thing that we've already touched on, but just matching Northwestern's physicality. We talked about physicality. We need turnovers. We need sacks. We need big plays. And we need to just not get blown off the ball.
Sure.
Like,
does that have too much to ask?
Yeah, those are 3 keys. Let's talk about Northwestern.
So that's all the parts of the game that we need to improve on. Is there any?
Everything.
I tell you one thing that's going well is our special teams.
Well, and that's what's like. I think what I keep coming back to is special teams is winning games or keeping us close or all of the above. We didn't screw up. It's something. It's almost like you look at last year's season, and last year's season was like, God, if we just had special teams and we limited turnovers, this team would be great. And so we have now an elite special teams. We really don't have a ton of turnovers. Like Dylan had 3 turnovers last week, but I don't think he didn't throw interceptions in Minnesota. We didn't fumble. I don't think we did. Do we have any turnovers against Minnesota? No. So you go no turnover, like very
just played
low,
good clean football.
But like we've fixed the 2 things we were most concerned about. I mean, Dylan had 10, 15 interceptions last year. We had tons of fumbles. It was a disaster from a turnover standpoint and disaster on special teams. Fix special teams.
Cleaned a little bit.
Fix special teams, fix interceptions. And now we're staring at this like weird team of like, well, yeah, but like, why are we getting sacked 5 times a game? It's like 5.2 yards, 5.2 times per game in Big Ten play is how many times we're getting sacked. And like, you can't win like that. I mean, very similar to how we said we couldn't win when we were throwing 4 interceptions a game. It's like you can't win when you throw 4 interceptions a game, and when Jess Sims is throwing the ball over the field. But
tomorrow, as far as the keys, the overall keys to the game go, so we mentioned committing to the run game and feeding Emmett. That needs to happen. 20-25 touches per game. That's got to be the part of the game plan. Number 2, obviously Raiola passing game scheme. Northwestern's going to be tough to beat through the air. They are 24th nationally in EPA against the pass. That's basically an efficiency metric. So they are actually decent at keeping things in front of them and limiting explosive plays. The third thing, matching the physicality and forcing turnovers. Like, I 100% think that this game is going to end up coming down to those three things. Mainly, they want to run the ball. They run the ball 39 to 40 times per game, which is second in the Big Ten. And we cannot stop the run. So that's number one. Can we run the ball on their defense? And can we get a little creative in the passing game to free up Raiola? And the turnovers win it. The rushing game, offense and defense, is what this game ends up coming down to. And another little random betting tidbit: Nebraska 2-5 against the spread this year. Northwestern is 5-2 against the spread. One team is maybe underperforming Vegas's odds. Northwestern is maybe overperforming. So,
yeah, I don't know what to do with that.
Interesting tidbit.
That's interesting because the line is 8 and Vegas loves us, and it's a very I don't know.
I repeat, Northwestern is 5-2 against the spread.
I feel like they cover that spread. 8's like 8.5 now.
2-5.
The Northwestern one
this will be a one possession game. It like has to be, right?
Oh yeah. I think you're pretty safe. 7.5 is like concerning as a line, but if it's 8, like it's guaranteed to be a one-score game. Concern for me as I was researching them, and then I watched at least all the highlights of all their games. Preston Stone, their quarterback's pretty good. He was a transfer from SMU, and
he throws a lot of picks though. He's leading the Big Ten.
Throws a lot of picks.
Yeah,
but
leading the Big Ten in touchdown to pick interception. Throws
2 years ago,
over 3% of his passes.
2 years ago at SMU, threw for 3,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, 6 interceptions during that 11-1 season that SMU had. So he's very consistently complete. Literally, if you look at his stats, in 2022, he completed 58%, 2023, 59, 24, 58, 25, 59. Like literally, this guy completes exactly 59% of his passes every single year. So we should expect him to complete 59% of his passes. He does throw a lot of picks. He had 7 picks this year. He had 6 picks a couple years ago. I think he must have been hurt last year. But pretty good. He throws a good ball. They've got a good team. I would say he's an area of concern. I think their running back might be out.
Cam Porter is out for the year. They're on to Caleb Kamolofa Trots or something.
He's not going to work here anymore.
But he's trotting around out there. But he's also hurt. Sweet.
He's hurt.
Great. On the third stringer to start his Heisman campaign. They actually do have a solid receiver, Griffin Wild. Pretty awesome name. He transferred over from South Dakota State, and that is where their offensive coordinator, Lujan, came from as well. They had the worst offense in the country last year, fun fact. And this year is Northwestern.
Oh, yeah. They're pretty good.
I mean, just atrocious. They were 128th scoring offense last year at 17.8 points per game. They averaged 99 yards rushing last year at 120. That was 123rd in the country. And they were 111th in passing offense. They were bottom 10 in all statistical categories on offense last year. So Preston Stone was a quarterback upgrade for them in the offseason. Definitely going to be watching out for him. He struggles throwing deep balls down the sidelines. So, hopefully our passing defense can get a little bit more back on track, because last week just allowing way too many easy completions, way too many. But they've barely only got one receiver that can kind of get through our secondary, I think.
Yeah.
I like that matchup, like our pass defense versus their pass offense. I just don't like that they are so committed to running the ball. And
isn't it 40 times a game? Don't they run 40 times a game?
Yep. Yeah, 39.5 times per game is second in the Big Ten, and it's close to tops nationally too. It's actually like
Yeah. So they've had
like
an interesting
scoring.
season. So they got their doors blown off by Tulane, who I think that's why everybody wrote them off. Is they lost 23-3 to Tulane, who Tulane is now 6-1. I think their coach is going to be the next. Summerall is probably going to be the next coach that gets poached to go to a Power 5. Then they beat Western Illinois 42-7. They lost to Oregon 34-14. And then they turned around and beat UCLA 17-14. I have no idea what to make of UCLA. We'll have to figure that one out later. But Northwestern beats them in a close game. They beat Louisiana Monroe 42-7. And then they beat Penn State. And that was the game that fired James Franklin, which was a remarkable
That is a team that
out of Penn
has
State.
way more talent than them, and probably more talent than us.
So I think that's, as I look at concerning things, like they shut out Purdue. A shutout in the Big Ten is ridiculously hard. And I know Purdue is terrible, but also like they're still a Big Ten team. This isn't shutting out Akron. It's not shutting out HCU. It's shutting out a a Big Ten team that at least has Big Ten players, 19-0. And then beating a Penn State team that, they're coming off the UCLA loss. They were favored by 20. Penn State was favored by 20 over Northwestern and lost, just completely blew it. They had a fourth quarter drive. Northwestern had a fourth quarter drive with 4 minutes to go to win the game. So they've had an interesting year. They've won 4 straight. They're hot. They feel comfortable. They've 4 different times have kept teams under 14. They don't give up a lot of points. They don't give a lot of bloody yards.
Yeah.
I think we got our work cut out for us.
Take the under is what I'm hearing.
Take the under. Well, the under is what, 44?
Yeah.
That feels safe. I mean, that means it's like 23, 21. Yeah, that feels great.
I feel love that one. I looked it up about Northwestern's rushing inefficiency. This is one thing that could give me a little bit more hope. So they run the ball 39.5 times per game. They average 190 rush yards per game. Pretty good. However, it's all volume and there's minimal pop. They only have 8 rushing touchdowns, which is 100th in the country. So they rush the ball. They're top 35 in rush attempts, and top 35 in rush attempts per game. But they're 100th in rushing touchdowns.
Ooh. You got some babies over there.
Got some yellers behind me.
All right. There you go. I'm trying something different this week, which is like a little different from the vibes of normal. I'm trying to go into this a little more like, I think I went in so confident we're going to beat Minnesota. I just did not think there was a world that we would lose to Minnesota. So I'm going into this like, all right, this is a toss-up game. We got to play our best to get there. So I think going into it with like that different mindset of like, I don't know, maybe it'll hurt less when we play so terribly. I was trying to think back to like we treated Maryland like it was the Super Bowl, and like that literally felt like every down, every snap mattered, even though like at the end of the day, that's probably a 5-7 football team. That I'm like, I think if we take that approach to Northwestern, then maybe it'll feel better if it's like a close game. I don't know. I'm trying to like all the mental loops I can to like prepare myself for what's about to happen tomorrow. You're muted. You are muted.
Totally. The only other thing that we got to be watching out for. So they actually have 2 defensive ends that are pretty solid as well.
Yeah, I saw that. That's not hard
wrinkle
pass
in there. But they've got, Anto Saka. He's got 3 sacks on the year, and Michael Kilbane and Aiden Hubbard. They have combined for 8 sacks on the season. Not great because we lead the country in sacks allowed. Not a category you want to lead in. Typically, you normally want that one to be last in the country, but we are leading the country in sacks allowed, and just gave up a school record to Minnesota. So this is like a huge opportunity for, they call these like the measuring stick games. Like, let's see where we're really at. Like a good team will just line their talent up and know how to utilize it and just say, I'm sorry, but you're Northwestern, we're Nebraska. We've got everything in place here to have a great football program. It is not to be like looking down upon them or anything, but when you have this much of a talent mismatch, it comes down to, are your coaches going to put that talent in the right position to win? And that's literally it. It doesn't come down to like, oh, well, we got some bad calls and some bad bounces. No, this is like, for a good team, it's a 21-point win, and you just kind of run away with the game and you put it away. And like, that's kind of all you do it.
Let's go rapid fire. Nebraska wins or loses. Ready? Go. Wins or
win.
loses.
It's always win, but win.
Nebraska covers 7.5.
Does not cover.
Really? I'm so all over the place. If you clipped all this, you'd be like, what is this guy even talking about? I have a sneaky weird feeling that like we maybe play like a complete game.
Whoa!
And this is like a Wisconsin.
Whoa!
Yeah, it's sneaky. It's very sneaky.
He's back. He's all the way back.
In the same half hour, I've gone like completely all over the place.
This game sucks, but also we're gonna win by double digits.
I think realistically, the completely rational brained person, and having watched the abomination of last week, as well as getting run off the field by Michigan State, like there's that side. It's like, yeah, this is gonna be a 1-score game. That's how we coach. That's how Rhule wants to play. He likes 1-score games. That's what it's gonna be. But then there's part of me that's like exactly that of like, what if at some point during this game we remember that we're good and we scored 70 points against Akron and 70 points against HCU and we beat a top 25 Cincinnati team and we have we scored 17 points against Michigan State in the fourth quarter. Like, what if all those things like just click?
Just do that
again. What if all those things just click?
Just do that.
That's like
all
the
time.
So I'm sneaky going with like a Huskers win cover. That's my pick. All right, let's go across the Big Ten now. Ready? Rapid fire. UCLA, Indiana by 26.5.
Indiana, I mean, yeah.
26.5 cover. I feel that too. Rutgers, Purdue is the 11 a.m. kickoff along with us. It's Nebraska and Rutgers, Purdue at the 11 a.m. kickoff. Rutgers by 1.
All the big boys.
Don't even care. Rutgers by 1.
How's the room on TV?
Washington by 3.5 over Illinois.
Oh man, that is a tough one. Can't believe they've got Washington favored, but Illinois to cover. I think Illinois takes that one.
I think Illinois wins straight up. They're 23rd. Here's another wild one for you. There are, let's see, Nebraska and Northwestern is 2 5-2 teams going at it. Illinois versus Washington is 2 5-2 teams. The next game up, Minnesota versus Iowa, they're both 5-2 as well. Who wins Minnesota versus Iowa? I was favored by 8.5, which seems a lot.
Iowa's favored by 8.5 against me. Okay.
I think Iowa wins running away with it, but I do think Minnesota covers. Like, I think Iowa's going to win. Really? I feel very, very confident Iowa wins. Minnesota's not a good football team. And I sneaky think Iowa's pretty good. Yeah, so I think Iowa wins. Minnesota covers. They win by touchdown.
God, those are just like two of the same team. I don't know. Just take the under and puke all over this line. I don't care.
39. 39 is the lowest.
God, Iowa leads the country in 30-point spreads or less than 40-point over-unders. They lead the country in that every single year.
Wisconsin, Oregon. Oregon is 31.5.
Holy, that's a big line, Wisconsin fans. Oregon to cover. They're so bad.
Oregon. Wisconsin has quit on the season.
How about this? Over-under. 3.5 points scored by Wisconsin.
I mean, I think they're predicting, so Oregon's favored by 31.5. The spread or the total is 45, which means they think Wisconsin will have less than 10, basically, or 12 or 13, somewhere in there.
Okay, I'm putting it at 3.5.
They haven't scored in 2 games. It's crazy.
2 games. 3.5. What do you think?
I think only reason I think they score more is I think Oregon's going to be up 35-0 in the first half. And I think they'll score a touchdown in like the fourth quarter. But this is a very, very bad Wisconsin team. Michigan State is the nightcap. Michigan favored by 13.5.
Yeah, I think Michigan covers that. I really don't. Michigan State is we made them look pretty good for 2 quarters. I don't think they're that good. I think we're biased because they were beating us at the end of the third quarter, but you saw what we did to them in the fourth quarter. I think Michigan's going to do that most of the game. Bully ball.
Bully ball. All right, Huskers win. Any parting thoughts? I can feel my house falling apart over here.
Okay, here's some quick rapid fire. Let's do some over/under stats on the game. Okay, Raiola, you get 5 seconds to think about this. Raiola over under 230.5 passing yards.
Under.
Emmett Johnson over under 89.5 rush yards.
God, I don't know. Are we gonna give him the ball? If he goes over, we win. If he goes under, we lose. So I say over with a win.
Preston Stone over under 158.5 pass yards.
Over.
Preston Stone over.
I'm so broken from the Minnesota game because like we held Aiden Childs and Sorsby and like Sorsby. Have you seen Sorsby? Sorsby's thrown 1 interception all season and like 24 touchdowns. Like he's absolutely lighting everybody up. He plays. So I'm very confused on that front. But then Minnesota torched us. So I'll say over, but I don't know. Okay, next one.
Dane Key over under 29.5 receiving yards.
I mean,
I love that line, but why does he not catch the ball?
I mean, they throw at him 3 times a game. So like 3 8-yard catches goes under that. He should.
Agree.
30. Was it 30?
29.5.
Such a pathetic line. Over.
Hunter or Barney to score a touchdown.
Over. Definitely. 100%. Like that's lock of the century. Wait, is it or one?
Hunter over under 0.5 is plus odds, and then Ja'Cory Barney is slightly higher odds.
Hunter.
Either one of them to score a touchdown.
Take Hunter. I think with very high confidence, Hunter scores. Minimal confidence that Barney doesn't score a ton of touchdowns, but he has a lot of yards. I'll take his over on yards if we ever get him the ball. Like every one of these is like, what are we doing? None of these guys get the ball.
The last, one that I see, they use a running back by committee. Their running back, let's go with Joseph Hyman, 61.5 rushing yards.
Who's that?
It's like their third string guy? Running back.
What's the number?
Yeah. But he's going to get a good amount of carries. 61.5.
61.5. Okay. Probably over.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I think you have to.
I mean, we can't stop anybody, so that makes sense.
So why would we start now? But okay. That's I mean, all reasonable picks. I think that in the end, we know exactly what we need to do to win, Husker Nation. We still need to turn up. It's an 11 a.m. game versus Northwestern. But guess what? Bowl eligibility is on the line tomorrow in October.
6-2. 6-2 would be a great.
6-2. It doesn't it matters.
Like
it's an
everything is back on the table.
Who cares?
6-2 heading into
Just
USC.
Go 6-2. Yeah.
6-2 heading into USC to set up a great matchup. I mean, but at 5-3 is like 6-2, baby. Boys are rolling.
You know what we need to do? We need to run the ball. We need to stop the run. We're going to stop their passing team and Raiola throw the flipping ball.
Love it.
Nebraska to win 20-17.
Okay. I think I'm like 35-21.
35. Let's go.
I mean, that's like, I guess Oregon is the only team that scored 35 on them. Maybe that's a little aggressive, but I don't know. What if we just put it all together? I don't know.
I love that.
It's Friday afternoon.
I love that about you. I knew you'd come back. I knew you'd come back around. After Minnesota, you said you weren't going to watch a game the rest of the year.
No, that was a lie. That was
back to 14-point wins.
That was incorrect. I've recovered. All right. Thanks, everybody for following. Make sure you check out HuskGuys on Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We got over 150,000 followers. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. Check out the HuskGuysStore.com. Get some cool merch. Run the ball. Lots of good stuff there. Thanks for listening, and go Big Red. Hopefully we got a victory pod next week. Go Huskers. Thanks for listening. Beat Northwestern.